Greetings. Well, uh, this is my 1983 EXP, and for the, obviously, this decal is a big part of this particular car, and everyone's always asking, or everyone's always saying, "Hey, that is a sweet decal," and it is. It's righteous. It's freaking sweet. Just check that out. It takes up the whole car, but it's simplistic, and it's honestly kind of small, right? Actually, so it's just awesome. It's not like you have a giant flag dangling off of your car or anything, but it's pretty cool. Anyhow, everyone's always complimenting it, and that's great because it's awesome. But people are asking, "Hey, is that original or what's going on with that?" Well, I'm here to tell you it's not original. I have a new old stock original decal right here, and you can see that there are some differences, both in the spacing and the shapes of the letters. The font's not quite right. The colors, the color difference is debatable. I'm not going to be too picky about that. So this was custom done, and we'll show you what the originals look like installed on the car. So this is in the factory 1983 EXP brochure. That's exactly how they should have been. And you can see in the C-pillar here that there's maybe there's not a separate decal for each one of these, but there's a decal piece for everything above this EXP section, because you can see this stops right below the sail panel. And so there's this upper piece, and once you apply that to the car, you have to cut out each of these little rectangular pieces, or parallelogram pieces, I should say. And those go inside the sail panel, the tic-tac-toe sail panel. Furthermore, the decals also tight up against the rear window. This one, not so much. There's also a massive gap here, which these don't have. It's a real small gap on these, just like you saw with my decal. It's a real thin gap. See that back there? And then I also have an example of a blue stripe one. And this is from an 82 or 83 EXP brochure of some sorts, but it is a genuine Ford photograph of a genuine Ford product. So these guys came in 4 colors, 4 color combinations. There was, got it pulled up here. There was the blue one that I showed you. There's a two-tone of red. There's a red and coral one, and then there's a two-tone of orange. So the ones that I have here, this one on the car seems to be quite resemblant of this one here. This one is I believe the coral and orange, which is almost exactly what this is. I mean, in the backing, it looks like this is red and this is orange, but I promise that what looks like orange is tangerine, and what looks like red is actually closer to orange or coral, just like this. These colors seem almost perfectly correct, but there are some differences here, and I knew for sure that these were not the original colors, because as I found out when I had picked up the car, I had noticed, my wife had noticed, and another escort buddy I visited had noticed that there's a little bit of bubbling underneath this decal on the C-pillar sail. And upon closer inspection, we see this here. There's an outline of a previous decal inside the C-pillar sail, and it's the same story on the other side. I'm just trying to keep out of the sun. But here you can see there's a paint chip. And what is that? Well, that's the red decal, the original red decal over silver paint. So this right here is the original silver, followed by the original decal, followed by a repaint of silver. And here's where things get kind of interesting. So you can see that the car was originally silver. Okay, let's start with that. And then it had the red, and I'm presuming it was the red and orange hockey stripe. It could have been red on red, but I'm presuming red on orange. Orange on red, whatever. So I had that. That's layer number 2. Layer number 3, this whole car got painted silver. That is layer number 3. Layer number 4 enters this custom decal that someone made. One of the other differences with this decal is it has in black EXP, and it's actually part of the decal. That was all of this is just one vinyl piece, and then it was colored. They colored the X, they colored all 3 of the black letters here, and then they colored the orange, the tangerine stripe, and they covered the orange stripe. Whereas this one, it's just 2 different decals with each their own separate color. And there's no black letters, and the letters are in a different font. But anywho, continuing on, we look further, we can see that for whatever reason from this point down, and I need to look closer at the top section, but that's not too important. We know what we know about the bottom. So from this point down, this car was repainted 3rd time, or I should say it got silver on it for the 3rd time, and they masked over these decals that are underneath this half. And over here you can kind of see some of their masking job where the silver overlaps the decal, but in some spots it's plain as day that the decal went on over the silver. In fact, we can actually see that here even. So it's really hard to tell. Maybe there's only 2 colors of silver: the original decal, and then the new decal was applied, they masked around it, shot this thing silver, or it was like I said, whereas the original silver, original decal, painted silver, apply new decal, mask around that painted silver again. Well, it's really hard to tell. We'll know more in the future as we start cleaning this off and I start tidying up the overspray. We're just going to fix all of that, but I'm not going to end up repainting it. These decals, the stock ones, these are the original ones like I have here, extremely difficult to come across. Extremely difficult to come across, but when you do, they're sometimes really affordable. But I got the originals so that I could have them replicated. I can take them over to a print shop or anyone with those kind of capabilities, and they'll make me new ones in any color I want, which means that anyone else can make new ones from any color they want from the people that I get them from. That's fantastic news for everybody. Just everybody. It benefits everyone. And there's no downside to it. So we'll eventually get to that, but in the meantime, these are staying. And like I said, they're definitely not originals. And I'm pretty sure that they're not even Ford from later years. Say maybe Ford was printing these again in 84, 86, whatever. But we're pretty sure that's not the case. Because in 84, the turbos, the C-pillar sail here, it was embossed with EXP instead of the tic-tac-toe. It was embossed EXP, just like the correct font. And if you had a stripe or anything here, that would be filled in. In fact, in most of the cars, it was filled in with black paint on the turbos, for instance. But for 86 Ford, most EXPs had the EXP sail panel, so having the hockey stripe that had the EXP thing going on just below it, that kind of makes it real redundant. It will look really weird if this still says EXP and now all of a sudden this does too. That would be extremely awkward. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that this isn't even a reprint. that Ford had. I don't think Ford had any kind of part in this. One of the other differences is this is supposed to taper down to into a point on the nose. This one neither goes onto the nose nor tapers in any such manner. So I do know this to be an aftermarket of sorts. And who knows, maybe it's new, maybe it was at the time new old stock aftermarket that some company did in the 80s or 90s or something. I have no idea. I'd have to find the previous owner to figure that one out. But no, I just wanted to share some tidbits. And as I run across these, and I do have part numbers for each of the different colors. As I do that, I'll say what's what down in the description. Oh, and another thing that stood out is kind of how they did this. This up here wasn't quite perfect, and it's not like what the stock decals are. So like I said, we'll spend some time prettying that up and making it right. But ta-ta for now, I imagine. Thanks, guys.